The Point.
CKPM FM, Port Moody.
Watch me. Watch me.
98.7. The Point. That's Arcade Fire. I give you power. It's 8:21. Good morning. It's going to be kind of a grumpy day out there today. And you got a lot of clouds out there and some rain. It's going to be that way till about Monday or so. Marcus is here from the Port Moody Museum. Just pull a little closer to the microphone there, Marcus. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me again.
So it's the Port Moody Museum is a fantastic little area that is just over the Murray Street overpass, Moody Street and Murray Street,
That's
in that
right,
area.
yeah.
And you guys and girls have taken things to the next level.
We really have taken stuff to the next level. Like up till yesterday, I'm building a tunnel now. You know, the troops had tunnels, or they call them subways. So we're building a mock tunnel behind it. So I'm literally right now in the rain, carrying about sandbags, building a fake tunnel. So we're really, really taking it to the next level, yeah.
And this is interesting. This is all, if you don't know, they've got this World War I trench that has been built, and it's now 2 years now?
It's, yeah.
2 years, and they're adding to it, and this is all in conjunction with the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge, which is started on April 9th in 1917.
Absolutely, and that's why we felt we should really go to the next level. You know, those guys back then, they gave so much, and, you know, our little display, I mean, you know, we're working hard, but it just gives you a little glimpse in the suffering and the technology that they had. And, you know, I think I work hard, but it's nothing compared to these guys.
Well, you look at it because they lived in the trenches. At least you get to go home and have a warm shower and you got probably better boots than they had.
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's why it's like, you know, I'm hoping to give people a little glimpse in the suffering, the dedication, and what these men put in there, right? And but I'm, you know, like, it kind of chokes me up, you know, like, there I am, I'm, you know, maybe wet a little bit and miserable for about half an hour, and then I go home and have a shower. It's nothing.
Yeah, and the interesting part here is 100 years ago, your relatives were probably on the German side, weren't they?
They would have fought on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, not only they would if they did. I know I've got a nice picture of one of my grandfather with a little dachshund in his lap sitting there. Yeah, so they would have done it.
And you look at you now putting this in because, of course, the Germans lost. And it's funny, the historians say the success was because the Canadian, the way they captured the ridge, because of their technical and tactical innovations. And I honestly think, because I've got Germans in my family, that the Germans were too busy arguing about how to do things right rather than to go in there
and making sausages and other stuff.
But, you know, that's making a little light of it. But it's interesting because Vimy was such an incredible a turning point for the First World War, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's sort of what the death toll for the German army. After that, it was downhill. You know, they delivered such a mighty blow, and so Vimy in itself it's a huge success, but it really is just a starting point from where the Germans just simply could not recover.
Yeah, and it's like that. No one knows how many Germans were wounded or dead. I mean, we had, what is it, about 3,000, 3,500?
Almost 4,000.
Almost 4,000 dead, and then about 8,000 injured?
Yeah, something like this. So
Yeah.
it's incredible numbers, and, you know, the numbers must have been huge on the German side as well, you know. And I think that's, for me now, you said, you know, you mentioned my German heritage. I think that's the beauty. Nowadays, you know, we come together, and it's all about understanding and honoring these men, you know, the sacrifice that they gave back then. And you know, now, and it shows you how far we come.
It does. And I mean, there's still people out there that just they feel the need for the drama, the countries that are going to start wars, so they can be, you just rattle their sabers a little bit, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, I had about 50 kids yesterday from my high school there. And I was standing there in my uniform, and I was telling them all about the war and yelling at them, because sometimes they were a little bit loud. But it was such great lot, these kids, you know, they were so interested. And you know what, you could see it in their eyes. They were like, you know, none of them were on their phones. They were all paying attention, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah,
you know, we remember, and then we won't rattle our sabers.
Yes, and that's it. They always say you learn by your mistakes, and, you know, history repeats itself. And hopefully we've got over a large part of that, but you never know. Now, With the Battle of Vimy Ridge, of course, there was a lot of people from the Tri-Cities in the Vancouver area that fought in these wars, the First, Second World War, the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and all wars, and the veterans. But this gives us a glimpse. What can we expect when we go down there this weekend?
So when you come down hopefully on Saturday at 11 o'clock. It starts. We have our train carriage is converted to a hospital train. We have a historic truck from 1914.
Wow.
It actually was, manufactured in the States, then sold to England, served during the war. They kind of lost track of it, but then it was purchased by someone and sent back to Vancouver in the 20s. We have the Sopwith Camel. We have, of course, our big trench.
You got a plane there?
Oh, yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes.
Where is that going to be?
It's right there in the middle of our parking lot.
Wow, this is amazing because to see the Sopwith Camel, I was always fascinated by these biplanes and the planes that they used during that time. So that's going to be there.
Oh, that is
Wow.
there, and people, and it's a magnet. People are coming and flogging to it. And then, as I said, we have the trench. We have now our tunnel. We will construct a little poppy memorial. And of course, there's going to be about 7 men in historic uniforms. We have Lee Enfield's, Vickers gun. We have all that show. And then each station will be manned with someone in like historic uniform, and will deliver a talk. So you just don't look at it, you just actually get a little history lectures. And then John Goheen will deliver probably like 3 or 4 lectures on what Vimy is about. So
Wow.
you can attend one of those talks, then drift to a display. And then if you're hungry, Fred Sufi is making some somewhat historic food for us. So we're going to get some trench stew, probably no rat's meat in it and no horse meat in it.
Yeah.
I'll kind of update it into a modern food, but it's going to be nice, and you can get that. And then on Sunday, we have the opening ceremony. The Legion Color Party will walk in. We'll have a marching band. And then, of course, speeches from the dignitaries. And then later on, there will be the Can-Can Girls, the Golden Spike Girls, for entertaining the troops.
That's just, and you get a little emotional when you talk about this because you think of what the Canadians have done and how we have gone as a society. We're generally known as peacekeepers, but when it came to the First and Second World War, don't mess with us. We'll kick your butt.
We were kicking butt, absolutely, yeah.
And is there any charge for this?
No, there's no charge. I mean, if you want to buy a stew and if you want to buy a beer, you pay. But other than that, all the displays are free and all the talks are free. Just come on down.
And what time does it start?
It's 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. So this is the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Vimy Ridge, the Port Moody Museum. Now, they don't just do this. They're not all about war because you guys have got so many different things happening down there.
Yeah, we're not all about war. So when we move out from Vimy, then obviously the next weekend it's Easter. So we kind of go into a total different mode.
Yeah.
and we'll have a little ducky shoot for little rubber ducks to float down.
Nice.
And the kids can collect eggs. So that the entire parking lot now will be, cleared of war, and there'll be eggs to, and to hunt, face painting. So that's going to be a really lovely affair for families to attend.
That is fantastic. So the Port Moody Museum, what's the website?
That's portmoodymuseum.org.
PortMoodyMuseum.org. Marcus, you guys and girls do a fantastic job there, and it's a little jewel that most of us know about, but some people have still yet to discover. And the best way to get to it is either down Murray Street or come over the Moody Street overpass and around.
Absolutely. If you see our museum, don't drive by. Come in and say hello.
And for those of you sitting in the microbreweries across the street, you can actually have a beverage and then come over and visit,
That's right. Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Marcus.
Thanks you for having me.